This computer. There we go. Recording started. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Bob Patel. I'm with Century 21 Jordan Link out of Visalia, California. Mitch Matsunami that you see on the screen also is going to be monitoring the chat because we have muted everybody at the moment. This way we can get through the training that we do and we'll open it up for Q&As near the end. So this is a not an official Century 21 approved training. This is a brokerage training that we do for my office since we have five offices at our brokerage and over 340 realtors. So and what we decided about a year ago, talking to both my broker owners, is to get their permission to open this up to the franchise because the way we saw it is like whatever we're trying to teach here could benefit somebody else in the franchise, then why not? And plus, it's kind of nice when we have a lot more people attending a training. So let's just get started. So what we wanted to do this time is talk about AI and get a lot of questions. So I figured, you know what, let's go back to basics. And I mean basics. The first part of this may get a little redundant to some of you, but some of you really need to understand the basics to start. And then later on, what we're going to do is we're going to go into an intermediary class, go into intermediary class, and go into a little bit more advanced class. But we wanted to start at the beginning. So let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. And we are. Mitch, you can see my screen okay?
I sure can. Thank you.
Okay, whenever you get a chance, if you get noisy on your end, mute yourself, okay? If you don't mind, just in case when you do. So, artificial intelligence basic 101. So let's just get started here. Um, so to be clear, we have to be able to know what we are asking AI to do. It is based on not just typing in, hey, write me a description for a property or write me A, B, C, and D. You cannot do that. So I'm going to give you a bunch of examples and hopefully it's going to make sense. So what it's saying, the first thing is you got to be clear. It's a machine. It has no clue what you're asking. Every time you start a chat, it's like it's never had a conversation with anybody. It's a blank slate. So you have to be clear on what are you saying. So tell exactly what you want. To think of it, what do I want AI to do? Example, a good starting prompt, part of a prompt would be write a funny story about a dog who becomes a superhero. Okay, that's one. A bad prompt would be tell me a story. Too vague. Just like some of you I know use, hey, write me a listing description, blah, blah, blah. But we don't give it all the details. Okay. I was showing Mitz a screenshot earlier of what you kind of homework you need to do is if you want AI to act like you, and he was flabbergasted the amount of data he has to give AI to understand his role. So one is to be clear. Second one is you have to give details. It's important for AI to understand what are you specifically asking. So when you add helpful information like your name, places, how long it should be example. Write a 100-word story about a cat named Max who lives on a farm and finds a treasure. Why it works? Why it works because you told AI how long, who, where, and what happens. So now it's taking that data, says, okay, I have a little bit more specific information. Let me try to write something. And just so you guys know, I actually used ChatGPT to create this content. So imagine this. I told it, hey, how can I explain AI Basics 101 as if I'm talking to a fifth grader? So it broke the language down in simple terms and it put this entire presentation content together. So two was details. Three, you have to use the right tone. So basically, what it's saying is if you want it to give you information that's funny, serious, silly, or smart. Example, explain photosynthesis in a fun and silly way using emojis. Okay? The AI will now talk to you like a fun teacher, not a boring textbook. So how you give it the prompt or the command is how it's going to talk back to you. So sometimes when some of you are using it and getting frustrated because it's not giving you the right content, it's because you're not asking the right question or you're not giving it the right data. Hopefully that makes sense. Then ask one more thing. So don't confuse AI with too many tasks in one sentence. So what you want to do is write a poem about a pizza in 4 lines. Like, okay. Bad would be write a poem, a joke, a story all about pizza. Too much. Too much information all at once. It's like, okay, hold on. What is it that you want specific? So when I am using AI to, let's say I'm using it when I'm doing my own business or marketing or when I'm writing content for the brokerage, I tell it, this is exactly what I want you to do, and this is how I want you to act, and this is all the information you should have. And then I ask it one piece of content at a time. And then I'm going to get all the data that I need. Now, if I get 5 pieces of content, then I can say, hey, love that 5 pieces of content you gave me. Can you summarize all of that into one piece of an article? And it's going to take all of that, break it down, and says, okay, I'm going to reread those 5 pieces of content that I generated, and then I'm going to spin it into one article. But I gave it specific commands as I went along. Okay. Second, and then it says, try again and improve. So if the answer isn't perfect, try asking it again in a new way. The other thing you can do is, hey, if this answer doesn't seem right, what would you suggest? If you've given enough data, AI is going to ChatGPT is going to start talking back to you, says, well, have you tried this? Or would you try that? It'll actually start having a conversation with you. And that's why AI is super important, especially if I had to learn a new skill, I would use ChatGPT and I would ask it to role play as my coach. But I would give it the role of everything that I needed to learn. And guess what? It will go back and forth with me. But we have to try. So if you don't get the right answer, ask it, can you ask it another question or rephrase your question? I said, you know what? That didn't sound right. How about we try this? That is what you got to do until it starts understanding and until you start understanding how am I supposed to speak to a machine to get the right answer? Okay. So what I did is I went in, this was the first section of the AI that I did. And I says, hey, and it asked me, said, would you like me to put this together in a little flyer? And guess what? It drew this out for me. So I didn't create this. It actually created it for me based on the 5 tips it gave me. Isn't that crazy? So it actually created the graphics for me. And I'll share this PowerPoint when I put it up on our YouTube channel. So don't worry if you guys need it. But this is what it created. It gave me those 5 tips we were talking. It says, hey, be clear, give details, use the right tone, ask one thing at a time, and then use magic word. Basically saying in simple words, act like a teacher, or please, or for a fifth grader, etc. You're asking it, you're putting specific words in there. Okay. Now, the one thing that most people miss in AI is act as. The number one thing you should do before you start it all is you should tell it, I need you to act as. Okay. Before you get into be clear, give details, use the right tone, ask one thing at a time. He says, hey. So basically, what you're telling is, why is it important? Because imagine you're playing pretend with a friend. You may say, act as a teacher. Okay. Now, your friend will explain things like a teacher would. Excuse me, let me go back. Or act as a superhero. Now they fly around the room, etc. This is how kids play. This is how AI is learning what you want it to do. So when you tell AI, act as a teacher, act as a chef, act as a pirate, act as a realtor, act like a doctor, act as a YouTube, it'll only reply in the answer that is related to that role. You have to understand. If you tell it to act like a sous chef and you ask it about lead generation, it's like, huh? It's gonna get a little confused. If you tell it to act like a top chef, it'll act like a chef. And you could literally give it, hey, these are the ingredients I have in my refrigerator. Can you create a meal for me? It'll actually create a full-blown meal using only the ingredients you told it you had in the fridge because you told it to act like a chef. So Mitz is on the call. Mitz, what kind of car do you have? Honda? No. Datsun.
Mhm.
So Mitch asks AI, says, hey, I want you to act like a Datsun mechanic. You've been in business since 1955, blah, blah, blah. And then if he has an issue with his Datsun vehicle, he can ask AI once he knows what kind of role to play. And I bet you he probably get the answer that he was thinking he was not going to get. He'll get the right answer, most likely. But
That actually works really well, Bob.
I'm sorry?
That works really well, actually.
Right. But you have to be very specific when you first start with AI. You have to tell it this is the role, this is who you are, act as. Now, every content that it gives you is going to be based on that particular role, which is super important. Okay. So now, why does it help? Just like your friend changes how they talk and act in a pretend game, just like when you're pretending you were little, AI changes its answer to match the role you gave it. Super neat to understand. Remember when you were role playing with kids, you would role play a different role. AI does the same thing because it doesn't know any better. So it makes answers easier to understand and more fun and more serious, better than your needs. So you have to start using act as. Then go to the five basic roles. Okay. How better prompt writing helps real estate agents. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. How do you write better prompts, basically a set of instructions to get content that you're looking for because you're real estate. So, why does it help? Because it saves you time. The biggest thing I try to explain to people is when you're first learning AI, it's gonna take some time to learn. The problem is most of you don't want to take the time to invest. So then you'll go into AI and then you'll just try to get answers and it doesn't work. It's so stupid. It gave me the wrong answer. You won't go back in because you gave it the wrong content. So if you're going to get into AI learning and prompting and everything else to help your life become easier, you got to take a little bit of time at the beginning to says, okay, let me learn. Let me learn how to communicate. Let me learn how to ask the right questions. Super important. See, so when you give clear, detailed prompts to AI, you get exactly what you need faster. Me and Mitch were going over this last time, and I was talking to an agent. We were talking about the blog post that we have on jordalink.com. And and he was like, "Man, that must have took you a while." I said, "Literally, no, it took me 5 minutes because I understood how to ask AI to give me the content that I want that is relevant to a specific keyword that I want, and then also ask it to generate images that are related to that content." Okay, example, act as a real estate marketing expert. There you go, act as. So now AI is going to act like a real estate marketing expert. So now you actually don't have to hire your own marketing company to create marketing material for you if you understand how to use AI to act as a marketing expert. You'd be surprised how many key people have created businesses over the last 2, 3 years on marketing using Canva and AI. Will blow you guys away. Okay. So act as a real estate marketing expert. Create a Facebook post for luxury listing in Palm Beach. Boom, you've got the content in seconds. Now, if you want that content to be a little bit more, then of course you're going to give it a little bit more data. Okay, because you have to tell it, hey, I have a luxury listing, but maybe I should give it a little bit more data. Maybe it's a, 6,000 square foot home, 2-story, etc. Then it can give you more detail. Front yard's got great landscaping with palm trees. It's going to give you more detailed post. Okay. Now, create more professional content. Using Act As helps you get content written in the exact voice you want. Remember those five choices. One of them was tone. I also said, do I want it friendly? Do I want it as an expert? Do I want it the tone to be luxury focused? Or do I want to sound like I'm local market savvy? You give AI all of that information and it's gonna create content based on somebody that's friendly or somebody that's a savvy local market expert. All depends on how you tell it what tone do I want you to use. So If you look at the example, it says act as a Century 21 agent and write an email to a first-time home buyer explaining next steps after pre-approval. Now get a polished message tailored to your audience. So that's where that is. Act as a Century 21 agent and write an email to your first-time home buyers explaining the next step after a pre-approval. It'll create it for you. But it said act as a Century 21 agent. So your content will come out Century 21 and real estate relevant content. All good so far? Mitch, did I lose you
100%.
or anybody else? Nope. Okay. It
No
also helps
questions.
stand out. Okay, got it. So when your content is clear, when it's engaging, it's consistent, your personal brand grows stronger online. So whether it's social media posts, email, newsletters, if it's a listing description, buyer seller guides. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is, of course, you want it to be clear, you want it to be engaging, but you also got to be consistent. So if you get super excited about AI today and you start posting posts, and then 5 months from now you haven't done anything, you just don't start. Because what happens is when you start creating content and people start liking it, whether it's on social media or emails, that was some pretty good content. And then all of a sudden you go blackout. Everybody's like, what happened to Bob? I haven't got anything from him. He usually send me everything once a week, or he typically posts once a week, and I haven't. Then I go visit your, let's say, Mitz's social media profile, and he hasn't posted something in 2 months. I'm going to assume he's not in business no more. I'm not even going to bother contacting him and say, hey, you haven't posted in 2 months. You okay? Now I'm a consumer. So I'm like, oh, I guess he's not in business. That's the first thing that would come to my brain. I would find another agent. So you got to be, I'm sorry? You got to
Like
be, yeah, you got to be consistent. Five, make complex stuff simple. So the need to explain mortgage terms, escrow, inspections to nervous buyers or sellers. So you can prompt AI like act as a teacher, explain escrow to someone who has never bought a home before. The result is you're probably going to get something that's clear, friendly, client-ready explanation. Because you told it, need to explain mortgage terms, escrow, or inspections to nervous seniors, but you told it, act as a teacher. Explain the escrow process to someone who's never bought a home. You could say act as a fifth grade teacher if you wanted the content to be more in simpler terms. So if the verbiage that comes out when you put in that prompt is a little bit above you, and like, you know what, because I'm probably going to lose my customers if I rephrase it this way, that says, you know what, can you rephrase that as a sixth grade teacher and see if it gives you the content that you want in plain, simple English. If it does, then you're like, okay, got it. Now I know that if I want specific content to come out a specific way, I can tell it, not just a teacher, a realtor or mechanic or whatever, act as, but explain it as if you're doing it to a fifth grader. So then you add that second part, and now it's going to break down whatever it's going to give you, whatever content and give you in super, super easy, plain English. Okay. So it's also great for brainstorming and scripts. See, act as a listing agent in a competitive market. What would you say in a listing presentation? Hmm. I'm curious. Maybe Mitz will check it out later and said, let me try this one out. What would AI do if I told it to act as a listing agent working for Century 21 in a competitive market? What would you say in a listing presentation to win that listing? Something like that. And I'd be curious to see what pops out. See, you'll get talking points, scripts, and even objection handling tips tailored to your market and audience. But then you got to add it more data. Oh, by the way, the market that I'm competing is Fresno County, located in California. So now you start giving AI more data. It's going to start redoing the brainstorming and scripts for you until you're like, boom, nailed it. But even that literally probably took you under 5 minutes, where if you were trying to figure this out by yourself, could have took you several days, and you probably would have drove yourself crazy. Okay, so prompts are what they call superpowers. The better the prompt, the better the results. Think of it like your MLS search filters. Be specific and you'll find exactly, just like in the MLS, you're going to go either by zip code, by area, or county. Then you're going to filter by price point. Then you're going to filter by bedrooms and bath. Are you going to filter by single story or or double story? Am I going to add special features like a backyard? And I'm going to do all this filtering to find a property for a client. That is something that you got to do when you're trying to figure out a prompt. Let me put in all of these variables so it can give me the right data. I see we have no questions, so I guess I'm still good to go so far. Okay, so
So far, so good.
this is another slide that I did, but I took it into two slides because it wouldn't fit all in because it'd be too short. How better prompts writing helps real estate agents. It saves you time. Like we talked about, if you get a detailed prompt, you get exactly what you want. Act as a real estate marketing expert, create a Facebook post on luxury listing, like we just talked about. Creates more professional content, especially when you tell it to act as. Is it going to be friendly? Are you going to be an expert? Are you luxury focused? Are you going to be a local market savvy? So then you write act as Century 21A to write an email for the first time to a first time home buyer explaining next steps after pre-approval. It's all of that step that you do knowing how to talk to a machine. And why is it important? Because it keeps your content, the content is consistent. Well, made an error there. Content, your personal brand grows on. So you could see a little bit of error when I told it to make an image, but it was close. So what I did is master prompt generation for Century True. So if you tell it, act as an expert real estate prompt engineer who specializes in helping Century 21 agents. So what I did is I went into AI and I typed in this first section. Um, that first section, I typed it in, that first paragraph, because I wanted it to create a prompt for a prompt. So I told AI, I need you to help me create a prompt for Century 21 agents. So let me see if I can get out of this, copy this. Not that. I need, wait. Act. Let me turn this off real quick. Sorry. Hang up. Okay. Copy. Let me see if it'll paste the right way this time. And okay, put it in the chat. So I told AI, act as a act as an expert real estate prompt engineer who specializes in helping Century 21 agents grow their business. Create a list of highly effective prompts tailored for the real estate agent that helps them. Generate listing descriptions, social media posts, craft emails, campaigns, prepare seller buyer scripts, and create SEO blog content. It is an entire prompt to create a prompt. Then it says each prompt should be specific. So I told it what to create. Then I told it each prompt, I'm going to put it in the chat again. Like I said, I'll share it. Each prompt should be very specific. Include an act as role and be optimized for agents working in residential real estate with Century 21. Include at least 10 prompts and make sure that they are client focused, results driven, and easy to copy and paste into chat. If you put that, you're going to start creating prompts specific to your needs. It is actually will blow you away. And literally, I asked AI ChatGPT to put this together for me in under 30 seconds. So then if you do the first part and you do the second, you're going to learn how to start creating your own unique prompt. Then what you do is if you don't have the paid account for ChatGPT where you could save them, just once you've enter a brand new chat and you type in a prompt and it gives you the right answer, copy that, put it in a Word document and save it. So the next time you need it, you just copy it, First thing you do is open up a new chat, paste it in it, hit enter, and it already knows, has the prompt, and it's going to say, what would you like? And you start creating it. So let me go back to full screen again. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so this is what you start doing. So what it did is I told it to give me 10 prompts. Okay, first one, 10 prompt templates for Century Insurance agents. Listing description. It gave me this. And I literally put it together in no time. Act as a luxury real estate copywriter. Okay, so I need somebody to create content that's copyright content. Write a compelling listing description for a four-bedroom, three-bath home with a pool in what city, state, you fill in the blank. Okay. Include highlights like a remodeled kitchen, spacious backyard, smart home features. Keep it under 200 words and use emotional, engaging language. So what you're going to do is if you need a listing description, you're going to fill in the blanks and rearrange it just slightly and then put it into AI. And if it gives you like, wow, that's pretty as much as close as I would want it. Now, if the tone is a little bit higher language, then tell it to tone it down. It says, hey, can you make it where it's understood by a fifth grader, seventh grader, ninth grader, whatever you want to do until you find that fine balance. Once it gives you the content how you want it, the next time you create a listing description, you're just going to change some of the bedrooms, bath, flooring, what city, etc. But you're going to leave the ideal prompt alone, copy and paste to save it into Word. So you have it. The second one it created was social media posts. It says, hey, act as a social media strategist. See, every time it does that, it's changing roles. For Century Tour Agent, create a Facebook, Instagram post promoting new listings include emojis, call to action, 5 hashtags, and a short, catchy headline. Highlight key features in a fun, engaging tone. You guys probably would never put that thing together. Would have spent half the day trying to figure out how to write that, and I did it in 30 seconds. Then the third one it gave me was act as a real estate agent, real estate content creator. See, the first one was a social media strategist. So somebody that strategizes, how do I post on social media? How do I get it more engaging? Number three was to how to act as a content creator. I need content. Maybe it's the About Me page. Maybe it's my bio. Maybe it's contact me content on my website, or I'm doing a section on first-time home buyer. But I need content. So you're going to ask a ChatGPT to act like a content creator, but very specific role, real estate content creator. Hopefully, I haven't lost anybody. So it says, write a weekly market update for the post for Tulare County that is a Century 20 agent can use on Instagram, include stats, trends, and why now is a great time to buy or sell under 300 words. Take that and rephrase it. I'm going to go to the next one so I don't go way over. Fourth one was act as an email marketing expert. See, if you guys notice, everyone is an act as. So now it's going to act, write a three-part email drip campaign for Century Turner and agent targeting first-time home buyers. Email one, introduce the agent. First, he's got to know who you are. Two, explain the home buying process. And three, encourage scheduling a consultation. So it is, once it knows who you are, it's going to create 3 emails that you can send out, one today, one tomorrow, and one on the third day, but you just got to copy and paste it. Is that pretty cool? Then number 5 says act as a real estate marketing assistant. How many of you guys need an assistant? Most of you do. Most of you probably like, oh, I need one. I was going to pay somebody. Why? You got this thing for free. Or pay for the upgraded account for $20 a month, and you'd be surprised what else you can do. So act as a real estate marketing assistant. Create an email newsletter for past clients, reminding them of your services, offering a free home value estimate, inviting them to refer friends and family, keep it friendly, personal, and professional. This is something right here, number 5, that every single one of you should be doing with your past clients as of yesterday. Right there. They already know who you are. You just got to remind them who you are, that you're still around because you probably haven't contacted them in a year or 2 or 3. And also, look what it says, offering a from home eval, but inviting them to refer. It already spit it out. I didn't ask it to write that. So AI already knows how important it is for you to invite friends and family or refer. Think about that. AI knows that, and I can't even get my agents to do the ask for a refer. So it's pretty powerful. Number six, now we're getting into Mike Ferry coaching. Well, I can't afford Mike Ferry, so I'm going to act as a real estate coach. But it could be anything related. It could be act as a coach that's specific to listings or how to do listing presentations. Teach me this specific part of the real estate transaction. You could tell it act as a real estate coach specializing in helping brand new agents get into the business. So now it has a specific more role. See, write a phone script for Century 21 agent calling a potential home seller in, let's say, Fresno, California, who requested a home valuation. Focus on setting the listing appointment and handling objections. Wow. And I sat on my lap and on my laptop on my lap when I did put this whole thing together. It gave me all the answers. And number seven, act as a real estate trainer. Now you're giving it the role of a trainer. Write a script for an open house. Greeting that helps build rapport, captures visitor info, and identifies serious buyers. Make it natural, confident, and not pushy. Now you got a real estate coach. Number eight, act as an SEO content writer. Boom. See, now it says write a blog post titled Five Top Reasons to Move To in 2025. Include subheadings, local insights, internal links to featured properties, and external links to community resources. Keep it under 1,000 words. Now, the main thing is after all of this is done, remember, you still got to proofread it. But it's an amazing how much content I'll give you that just helps you jumpstart whatever you're trying to do and probably saves you so much time. Number nine, act as a real estate blogger. Write an SEO optimized article called A Complete Guide to Selling Your Home in Fresno County. Break it simple steps, use transition words, active voice, and keep each sentence under 20 words. See how detailed it is when it's asking to act a certain way? Super detailed. We don't do that when we're just doing ChatGPT and asking it something. We overcomplicate it. So bonus script is branding and bio. Act as a real estate brand expert. This is key because most of us have no idea what a brand or how to brand ourselves. Write a professional and friendly bio for a Century Turner, an agent, let's say in Fresno, California, who works with first-time home buyers, move-up families, and retirees. Highlight their years of experience, community ties, and what makes them unique. Even that alone is super powerful for a bio, especially if you're doing an introduction or something like that with clients, or especially if you have this type of bio on your Moxie Present before your contact information, and you have a bio on one side and you have a video that you created on the other side, is super powerful to potentially win that listing. Okay, so here are some practical. So what I did is I asked it a question and honestly don't remember what I asked. Oh, how can real estate agents are brand new to business or first time? So here are some practical tips and advice for realtors using AI for the first time. I said, hey, how can I get information to agents for or using it for the first? Let's just assume everybody's brand new using it for the first time, whether they're using GPT or any other tools to boost their business. So it says smart advice for realtors using AI for the first time. This is what AI gave me. I asked it, what would I do? It says first, start small. Think of AI like a helpful assistant. Okay. Don't try to do everything at once. Start by using AI for writing listing descriptions, social media posts, drafting emails, brainstorming content ideas. So try a prompt like act as a real estate copywriter, write a fun Instagram post for a new listing with a pool and modern kitchen. This is what AI has given me. Number two says, so number one, remember it says start small. So if you're barely getting into using AI, you got to start small. Two, it said, be clear and specific. So AI can do a lot, but it needs direction. So the more details you give it, the better the results. So instead of saying write a blog post, which most of us would, you can say write a 500-word blog post for a Century Turner agent about the benefits of staging your home before selling. It's all about giving it specific and clear. Third one, act as super, super important to set the right tone. So AI can take any role you ask just by saying. So you would always start, act as a luxury real estate agent, or act as a social media expert, or act as a home buyer educator. It is gonna role play and put that hat on. So when it gives you content, it's based on that role. So this helps AI understand what kind of response to your voice and tone you need. Edit and make it your own. So AI gives you a strong draft, but it's your personal touch. Remember, tweak the message to sound like you. I've seen so many social media posts or I've seen so many listing descriptions. I know that agent didn't write it. They don't even know how to use emojis, and there's a gazillion emojis and hashtags sitting in a post. All of a sudden, I'm like, there's no way. Okay, five, practice and play. So the more you use it, the better you get. So try different things. Try all the different social media posts. See which one works for you. If it doesn't, take that, rephrase it, add information about yourself until you get it the way you want it. Because once you have it, that is your go-to every time you need to create something. It's based on that act as role. Okay, use it to save time and not to replace you. Remember, it's not going to replace you. You're using it to save time. I'm telling you, if you're not even just willing to learn, you don't understand how much time this thing can save you, how much time, how much your content becomes consistent, how much your content evolves and looks more professional. And then if you're using it for social media, how much more people eventually will start seeing you as a local expert because the post, the content, the content in it all sounds unique and uniform and is branded towards you and your role because you said act as the top real estate agent in Fresno, California. You could do that. It'll play that role for you and give you all the content as the number one realtor in Fresno, California, or whatever city you want, or the number one realtor in the luxury home market in Palm Beach, Florida. It'll role play that for you and create content based on that particular role. You just got to tell it. And then what kind of tone do you want? What kind of language you want? Do you want it to be professional, energetic? That's how it's going to get that content. So if you're lively and fun, like to laugh, then make it humorous. Don't start posting content that's serious because I'm the first one that'll know. If you're funny and always laughing and having a joke and then all of your content is serious, I know you didn't do it. And so will your consumers know you didn't write it. Okay, so what I did is I asked it to put another slide together. On this one, I dropped an image, but see, it broke down the slide. So AI, and this is in ChatGPT. It is actually the fourth version of ChatGPT that just rolled out, especially the paid version that creates images. It will create images almost 95% to a T. And even put verbiage. This verbiage was done. You could see there's a few little spots that it missed, but it's pretty darn close to how it's putting content and creating images for you. So that is the end of this slide presentation. So does anybody, let me just open up um, chat. Where am I? Where is my participant? Where's my participants? There you are. Open up to allow you guys to unmute yourself if anybody has questions or put it in the chat and then I'm watching the chat at the same time. So anybody have any questions currently?
I got a real quick one, Bob.
Yes.
So what's your technique when you're using like ChatGPT or Gemini? Do you create a new prompt? I mean, do you ask it something new every time, or do you go back to the same conversation that pertains to real estate or technology?
So let me give you an idea. I am going, see, these are my histories.
Hmm.
So sometimes what I do is I'll go back to um let me find one because I've been real estate content strategy. Let's see that one. So you can see how long this is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so what I did is I at first started and says ignore directions, blah, 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 comprehensive real estate. But what I did is there was one in here that I used to create content for a client that I was doing their website. Okay.
Hmm.
So what I did is I told it, I says, hey, I need you to act as. And then what I did is I told it, uh, contacts real estate here. So this is Century 21 a property shop. So if I go back all the way up to the top, here it is. I went in and told it, here's Century 21 Property Shop. I am working with them. Here's their bio. Here's their community information. They were founded in here, blah, blah, blah. They are also part of the Century 21 franchise. It already knows that. And so now I can create this content there and use it to go back and create content for that particular company over and over and over and over because now it has all this history. It knows
Got it.
all
Okay.
of this. So now I could ask, hey, can you create me social media post based on this keyword? It'll know reading, going back to this entire conversation because that's all it knows. ChatGPT doesn't know all the other conversation. This chat is unique to just this chat. So I can come back to it later and says, you know what? I need to recreate the content for the about me. Can you recreate it? It'll recreate it
Cool.
because it
All
has the
right.
entire history. But if you created a prompt for social media, let's say, and you told it that I will give you a particular keyword, then it'll know everything that you've asked it. All you have to do is switch up the keyword. So let's say you gave it a prompt to, hey, I need you to act as a top Century 21 real estate expert in the Fresno market. I need you to use this tone, be concise, make it humorous and funny. I need you to, I will give you the specific keyword and you will create content for Facebook and Instagram using 3 hashtags and 4 emojis, etc. Right? At the end of it, I end it said, do you understand? Please confirm before I give you the keyword. You with me so far? Then it'll read it. It says, I understand. What is your keyword? Then I
Mhm.
give it the keyword. Like let's say first time home buyer in Clovis. It'll give me
Got
social
it.
media posts. The next
That
time I
makes sense.
give it a new key. Okay, I have a new keyword. Here's this keyword. It'll give me the social media post for that new keyword because it already knows the directions I already gave it. So you can create that one chat conversation on the left and use it over and over once you've written the right prompt. All you have to do is, here's my next keyword. Boom. Put in a keyword, it'll generate all the content you want. Knowing four
Cool.
hashtags, 4 emojis, and make it tone, make it funny. It'll know all of that.
That's cool.
So
All
then
right.
once you understand the prompt, every week you could tell it, give me five. You could decide I want three because I want to post them every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you already told it, give me three. So Monday morning, you give it the keyword, it creates you 5 social media posts. You go into Canva, and if you use Canva, Canva lets you schedule the post out. Put in the post, put in the content, put in the image, schedule it out, and then you're probably done in 10 minutes. And then next week you do the same thing 10 minutes later. Or you decide, hey, give me 12 for this month, starting in April, give me 12 for the whole month. And then you go into Canva, create the images, and schedule them all out, and your social media campaign is done for the whole month.
Got it. One more question, Bob.
Yes.
We had a question here. Which AI would you consider paying for? What do you think is probably the best if you're
I
going to pay for
use
it?
all the free ones until you find the one that actually works for you. There's not a, oh, this is the one, etc., that is gonna cover. Ooh, hand gestures, wrong one. That covers it all. I'll go and back and forth from Gemini to get specific data. Hey, can you tell me about X, Y, and Z? And they're like, oh, okay, let me see what ChatGPT will give me. But I got used to using, some of you will get used to using Perplexity. Some of you will get used to Chat. Some of you will use Gemini. Some of you will use Copilot. What I suggest is just practice with all of them when you have time. Take a few minutes here and there, or try a prompt and say, let me put this in prompt in Chat. Okay, I like that content. Let me put it in Gemini. I like the way Gemini gave it me a little bit better. So you have to play around with each. There's not a single, there is so much similar to ChatGPT, you couldn't go down the list in this class. There's so many more coming out every day. Quick question, what is the best browser? I use Chrome. It's up to most people what browser they want to use. The reason I use Chrome because that's my Gmail that I use for work, my Google Calendar I use, my booking calendar that I use. Some people don't like to use Chrome. They use, Microsoft Edge or they use DuckDuckGo because they don't want tracking. And that's going to be an individual preference regarding that, Betty. Any other questions do we have out there?
That one's still Bob.
Everybody's so quiet, for God's sake. You're welcome.
Oh, and I think I already asked you the questions I had over the weekend. So,
So if some of you have the paid version of ChatGPT, try it out because now you can create arcane style is a specific style of drawing, ARCANE. So I tried one. So I this is my picture that I had, and so I told it to create an arcane style of me.
oh, that's cool.
It's getting really, really, AI is getting to a point where it can almost create a duplicate image of you. And some of you saw where I posted a video of me creating myself as a Pixar and making Pixar talk. You can actually do a 15 to 20-second video, and probably cost you maybe a buck or two, a dollar to create that video of you talking using video animation with AI. So you
Uh,
just first got to learn how to use the basics of AI before you try to dwell into other things. But we can talk about that probably in the second or the third class.
yeah, over the weekend I played with Copilot a little bit. That's a little different.
Yes.
Copilot comes with like your Microsoft stuff. Yeah.
So we have no questions. Well, we are going to have another class next week. I'll get a subject line out. Not sure exactly what topic. I'm not sure if we'll stay on this topic. If you guys want me to stay on this topic and dwell into a little bit more into AI, besides the basics, you got to let me know or Mitz know. You guys always find us on the Century 21 Facebook group. Just find us, message me. I mean, not hard to find. And then the week after, there will be not a class because I will be on vacation. Unless Mitz wants to handle the class by himself, that's up to him.
Well,
We
we
might just
won't be
throw
talking
him under
about
the bus
AI.
and make him do a class by himself.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, just my own interest.
Yes.
I mean, like, I know there's a lot of stuff you can do with AI. I use like Gemini to upload like documents, like instructions, and then ask AI to, be familiar with the instructions on certain things and
Right.
ask questions based on the documents. Maybe like something like next level like that, like having it, peruse a website or, in order to help you, maybe get more familiar with certain things.
Well,
Honestly, I go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you can even in chat, you can. I don't think I have a PDF document. Oh, sales onboarding guide. So let
There
me
you
see.
go.
Century 21 has an onboarding guide. So let me upload the onboarding guide. And I'm going to ask it to see if you can you create a one-page guide on the attached. Let's see what it does.
Well, that would be too easy for her.
So in that split second, it read that entire PDF. So it's giving you a link talking about logging into 21 Online, building your brand, mastering your systems, MoxieWorks training. It's even got a link to MoxieWorks training. It's got a link in here to 21 Online where you're supposed to sign up. Key activities. You set up your bios, complete your sample listing, download logos template, explore your dashboard, welcome videos, get short-term goals. Preferred Client Club, 21 Online Working with Clients, Quality Service Award, and here's all the support. So you guys can
Awesome.
literally upload a contract or a particular part of a contract if you're not understanding it, just if you for yourself, because I don't know how accurate it is, but upload something and says, hey, can you explain this in basic terms so I understand this one document? But it does a pretty darn good job of understanding the content. Is how it puts it out here. Is it exactly right? You'd have to proofread it. How can you see these recordings? Let me, yeah, you are way behind, Betty, but it's okay. And anybody else that wants to see it, it's the trainings will be on my brokerage YouTube channel under either technology or MoxieWorks. It all depends on how we're doing it, but you can always find the latest videos. So once this session's over, I'll record it and probably put it under technology because it's not MoxieWorks related, but under technology, but it'll be the first video that you see if you go on there. Like right now, if you went over there, you'll see overview with Page AI with Justin that was done the following week, etc. So you'll find it on that YouTube channel. So if there's no further questions, we're gonna sign out. I will post on the Facebook group on what content Mitz and I are gonna go over next week. And you guys have an amazing week. By the way, this is going to be we switching from Thursdays at 9 o'clock, 9:30 to Mondays. We figured it's easier if somebody wants to get on, they get a motivation for the rest of the week in AI and tech, and hopefully some of these prompts will help you understand, hey, if I use these, could I create content that'll help me the rest of the week? So we're switching permanently to Mondays at 9, and the East Coast, 12 o'clock. Our Zoom ID pretty soon will be changing, but we'll let you know what it is once we change it out. It's probably going to go away from my cell phone number to my brokerage phone number, but I'll keep you posted on the next post we do on Workplace on Facebook. So we're going to be signing out. You guys have an amazing day and have a great week. Thanks, Mitz.
All right. Thank you, Bob.